Welcome back. So this is my first video after the holidays, and I have decided that this whole month is going to be all soup recipes. So a whole month of soup. I think it's the perfect way to start off the new year and make something warm and comforting for these winter months. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make a ham and bacon corn chowder. And on a cold, dreary day like it is today here, I think this is the perfect way to warm up. So let's get to it and make some ham, bacon, and corn chowder. All right, so to get started, today I'm using a sweet onion. It's roughly a medium size, so I'm just going to dice it up into really fine pieces. Then I am going to take a couple cloves of garlic. I have 2 very big cloves of garlic. I'm just going to smash them and then chop them into little pieces or dice them. Or if you have a garlic press, you could use that too. My garlic is really big. If you don't have big pieces, then just use probably about 4 small cloves of garlic. I'm also using a couple stalks of celery. I'm not going to use the leafy part, just the bottom stalk part, and I'm going to dice that up really fine. Then I have 3 or 4 small potatoes. I cut away all the bad parts, of course. I've peeled them, and now I'm just going to dice them up into small little cubes. Once they're all diced, I'm going to rinse them all off and just drain them and then leave them in my little mini colander until I am ready to use them. Next, I'm going to use a package of bacon. Well, half a package. So I've cut my package in half, and I'm going to take out a whole bunch of strips of bacon. And I started to use my knife to cut it, but I found the kitchen shears work so much better, and I'm going to just cut them into little pieces. Once it's all cut into small pieces, I separate them, and I'm going to set this aside for a minute. In a large pot or your Dutch oven on your stove on a medium heat, you're going to start by cooking your bacon. So I put all the bacon in. I'm just going to cook it until it's cooked, not well done, but not underdone either. And then I'm going to use a slotted spoon to take it all out, leaving all of the bacon grease in the pot. Next, you're going to add about 2 tablespoons of butter, and you're going to let that melt a little bit. As it's melting, you're then going to add your onion, your garlic, and your celery. And you're going to just cook this until the celery kind of softens and the onions kind of start looking translucent. Now I'm going to add some seasonings. So I'm starting with a 1/4 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. I'm going to add an 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. You can add a little bit more if you'd like. I'm also going to add an 1/8 teaspoon of smoked paprika and an 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. All of these, of course, are to your liking, so you can add a little bit more or a little bit less of each one, depends on how you like your flavors. It could probably do with a little bit more paprika, pepper, and maybe even some of the cayenne pepper, but I left it at this, an 1/8 of each of those and a 1/4 of the Italian. Then you just mix it all together. Next, I'm going to add 2.5 cups of chicken stock and give it a little mix. Then I'm also going to add 1 cup of heavy cream mixed with 1 cup of milk. I'm using 3% milk. I'm going to mix those 2 together and then pour that into the chicken stock, mix it all together. I'm also going to add all the potatoes at this point, and I am going to just let this simmer for a little bit until the potatoes are kind of tender. The potatoes are almost cooked, so I'm going to get my cornstarch slurry ready, and this is what I'm using to thicken my chowder. So it's a 1/4 cup of cornstarch mixed with a 1/4 cup of cold water. Mix that all together. So now you're going to take your cornstarch slurry, you're going to go back to your pot of chowder, give it a mix, and then you're going to start pouring in your cornstarch slurry slowly. And while you're pouring it in, you're mixing at the same time. And you'll notice as you're doing this, it all comes together really nicely, and you'll see how it starts to thicken. Of course, it depends on how thick you would like your chowder to be. If you like it a little thinner, use less of the cornstarch. If you would like it a little bit thicker, then use a little bit more. I found a quarter cup works really well for at least what my family liked. So mix that all in and you'll see a difference as you're mixing it. I forgot to show you guys me chopping up the ham for this chowder, but I'm sure you can figure out how to chop some ham. So now I'm adding 1.5 cups of ham to the chowder, and I'm just gonna mix that in. Next, I'm gonna add a can of corn. I've already drained the corn. You could also use frozen corn if you prefer, but I like using a can of corn. I just drain it and then pour it right into my chowder. I'm also going to add the bacon that I've already cooked into the chowder now too. Give it all a little stir, and then I'm just going to let this sit here and simmer just so that the ham, the bacon, and the corn can warm up. And that's it. It's ready to be eaten. So, of course, taste it. See what you guys think. You can always add more seasoning if you want more flavor. The ham that I did use in this was from we had made a smoked ham on our smoker and this was left over. So I wanted to use it rather than just eating like ham and potatoes. So I turned it into a chowder. You could also just buy one of those small little sort of like pre-cooked hams from like Walmart or the grocery store, and those will work perfectly as well. While my chowder was simmering, I took the time to cook up some more bacon, only this time I made sure it was crispy bacon. And I also chopped up a few green onions just so that I could put it on top of my chowder. And now I'm ready to go and enjoy this amazing bowl of ham and bacon corn chowder. All right, you guys, so it turned out really well. My husband has already eaten a bowl or two of it. Um, my brother also had some and he loved it, but both of them, their feedback was that it was a little too salty, which is understandable. I used just over 2 cups of ham, and ham is extremely salty. I also used regular chicken stock, which is quite salty as well. So maybe scale back on the ham, only do about a cup, cup and a half, and use the low sodium chicken stock instead. See if that makes a difference. Besides that, I mean, it's not so salty that you can't eat it. It was just a little saltier than what we would like it to be. Uh, it's amazing. I did cook up some extra bacon so that I could put crispy bacon on top of it. And then, of course, I used some green onions and chopped up some of them for on top of it as well. It's delicious. It is salty, but I still like it. I'm still going to eat it. My husband's still going to eat it. I just know next time I'll scale back on those few things. So this was a great start to a month of soups and chowders. I hope you guys enjoyed this one and are looking forward to lots more soup related videos. Okay. Remember to hit the like, subscribe, and that notification bell. And I will see you guys all next week.